You see, they've inherited a lot of freedom here. They have inherited some luxury. They've inherited this, that, and the other. And they don't even know whence this freedom came. You know, my dear friends, that when Abraham Lincoln died, it took two people who were into a tavern that night. Who were the two people? Booth, of course. He took his drinks in the tavern, close to the Ford Theater. And there was another who stood guard over the president's box. And he said, let me just go out across the street to get myself a drink in the tavern. He left his post of duty. And Booth came in. He found no sentry on watch there. He entered. And there, in the box, Lincoln was not interested in the play. He was saying, Mary, now I shall get the great desire of my heart, and we will go to the Middle East. We will follow in those hallowed steps. We will go to Bethany. And then when he was saying, we will go to Jerusalem, the pistol rang. So, my friends, on that last day of Mr. Lincoln, when he knew that the war had just been won, he said, now that this abomination is past, you see, there is one more plague that afflicts America. The curse of alcohol. This is the next thing on my agenda. That's what he said. I would like to read to you part of his, there was his proclamation of national fast days. And this was the proclamation. We know that by his divine law, nations, like individuals, are subjected to punishments and chastisements in this world. May we not justly fear that the awful calamity of civil war, which now desolates the land, may be but a punishment inflicted upon us for our presumptuous sins, to the needful end of our national reformation as a whole people. We have been the recipients of the choicest bounties of heaven. We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power as no other nation has ever grown. But we have forgotten God. We have forgotten the gracious hand which preserved us in peace and multiplied and enriched and strengthened us. We have vainly imagined in the deceitfulness of our hearts that all these blessings were produced by some superior wisdom and virtue of our own. Intoxicated with unbroken success, we have become too self-sufficient to feel the necessity of redeeming and preserving grace, too proud to pray to the God that made us. You see, folks, you talk of secular beginnings? No. Washington made his proclamations calling the nation to prayer, and his own writings of Washington, how he would humble himself before God and confess his sins. But let me tell you, where have we drifted? There are a bunch of people around today in America who feel they owe nothing to this country. They have not got a servant heart. They have a leech's mind. How tragic. You know, when we depart from truth, from the spirit of the gospel, we become leeches, bloodsuckers. We can't build any kind of world with a bunch of bloodsuckers around. We need the mind of Christ. I will be a servant. I will serve. I will pay my taxes in full. The servant heart which Jesus gives us. I am called to be a witness. I am called to be a servant. Just think of this whole group of people leaving the church buildings of the nation today. If all of them went out into Monday with the thought, I am a servant of all. You know, my dear friends, what a nation this would be. Unfortunately, today, in many parts of the world, you know, as President Lincoln said in his proclamation, we have grown presumptuous and proud, and many nations kind of think of America in those terms, as though this is a domineering country. But the record shows that this has been a serving country.